Holy turbines to speed, Batman! A turbine-powered Batmobile has gone from the TV screens to the road. A best-selling author encourages you to hand out more than just candy this Halloween season. NASA is releasing some spectacular new photos of the Apollo landing sites. And Jared Padalecki tells Grimm and Fringe to bring it on. But wait, there's more. Nigel checks in from the multiverse, and we've got a round table with the cast and crew from Eureka. There's no way you can miss this episode of Slice. None.
Covering all the news from every dark corner of the universe.
Warning, effects of time shifting may occur.
This is Dr. Michio Kaku.
I'm Peter Mayhew.
This is Trisha Helfer, number 6 from Battlestar Galactica.
Hi, this is Colin Ferguson with Sci-Fi Channel's Eureka, and you're listening to Slice of Sci-Fi.
Sliceofsci-fi.com.
Humpty Dumpty had a great spring. I'm Michael Ermenenge.
And then he had a leak again like Mike Sy does.
Yes.
I am Brian Brown.
Megan's ear.
No quips.
No quips,
No.
no qualms, nothing. I'm Tim Adamick.
And I'm Trouble.
That she is.
Who is this masked woman? Looks confused.
There's a reason. We'll talk about that after a little bit. But hey, let's get right down to it. News time, folks.
Positions, everyone. And now, the news.
All right, let's get right to it.
Now, we may not be sending manned missions to the moon anytime soon, and definitely not building Domino's pizzas just yet. But we can relive the glory days of space exploration with a new series of images released by NASA.
Ah, yes.
They're awesome, by the way, folks.
Yes, fantastic.
The images show the Apollo 12, 14, and 17 landing sites, showing the twists and turns of the paths made by the astronauts when they're exploring the lunar surface. The images were taken from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, the LRO. For example, at the Apollo 17 site, the tracks laid down by the lunar rover are clearly visible, along with the last foot trails left on the moon.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
You can see the spots where they did all the donuts and all that.
Yeah,
kind of
Here's the cool thing, and what I want to know, though, is Google Maps, Google Moon, are they going to be basically taking these images and updating their Google Moon
They
maps?
probably
Absolutely.
will.
They
Oh,
have
yeah.
to be.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's phenomenal, that app.
So at each site, basically, the trail runs along the west to the west of the landers, where the astronauts placed the Apollo Lunar Surface Experimental Package, that's the LSEPS, to monitor the moon's environment and interior. This equipment was a key part of every Apollo mission. It offered the first insight into the moon's internal structure, measurements of the lunar surface pressure, and the composition of its atmosphere.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see those as well. Really, really cool stuff. Yeah, folks, I'm sure we have a link on our website, sliceofsci-fi.com. Go check it out. So
Absolutely.
So, getting near the season now, of course, we're talking about Halloween. Well, candy's a great treat for the upcoming Halloween season.
Liquor's quicker.
Author Neil Gaiman says, hand out gin. No. He said,
Dude, I am totally going to Gaiman's house.
no, Gaiman is saying heroin. No, Ken, I got it wrong. He is actually saying, no, start a new tradition. And what he says is, called the All Hallows Read. Gaiman is encouraging people to share their favorite scary novel or story during the Halloween season. Gaiman says the practice isn't meant to replace traditional candy, of course, handed out, but instead a great excuse to give someone a book.
Right.
Interesting.
Isn't that cool for kids?
It's a good idea.
It is.
However, Gaiman says when dispensing the books or a recommendation, to make sure the book is appropriate for, of course, the person's age.
Here, Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, exactly. Don't give, hey, Stephen King, It is really good. Here you go, kid.
Yeah, no,
You'll love clowns so much after this.
Hand that copy of The Cat Who Walks Through All to that 5-year-old.
They
The
gotta
moon is
be
a harsh
scarred
mistress.
sometime.
There you go.
Any Heinlein like that. So, if you're not sure what books to give, Gaiman offers this advice. If you do not know what scary books are to give someone, talk to a bookseller or a librarian. They like to help. Librarians will not mind even if you admit that you're not planning to take out a book, but instead you're going to buy one and give it to someone. That's really cool,
That's true.
actually. I kind of like that. Oh, I hope you're...
The thing, though, about this is how many people can really afford to give out $400, $500 worth of books?
Dollar store.
Well, if you're like me, you get maybe 5 trick-or-treaters. It's really easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
we don't get much here either.
Yeah, I'll just go for a used bookstore and grab, a Fahrenheit 451, for example.
Well, we got 70 or 80 last year.
Did you really?
Yeah, we did.
Wow. Dang, we get nothing like that. I think I had 5 last year.
It's because we live on we live on North-South Street. That's why.
I've never seen my trick-or-treaters. I go to my friend's house.
Well, yeah, exactly. You're also an AJ, so there's we just kind of throw stuff across the way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's a turnip. Hey, man.
Go through my trash.
I got some of these Bubba teeth. They're better than my real teeth.
Sorry.
Moving right along. So Casey Push has created the world's first turbine-powered Batmobile.
And this thing is freaking awesome.
The car is powered by a military-spec turbo shaft engine driving the car rear wheels through a semi-automatic gearbox and features a custom tube frame monocoque chassis with fully independent suspension, disc brakes, and a sequential shifter.
Yes. It is awesome. You just got to watch the YouTube video. It is so awesome.
And dig this. It runs on either kerosene, diesel, jet fuel, and has power-to-weight ratio compatible to that of a Dodge Viper.
Nice.
Exactly.
It's awesome. So the car is registered and insured for the road in the United States. We've got a video of Push, driving the Batmobile on our Slice of Sci-Fi website, so you can go up and check it out there. But also there's some great YouTube ones, too. Yeah.
And talk about the most obnoxious vehicle to take through a neighborhood and at 12 o'clock at night. It'd be fantastic.
Forget that, man. I'm just wondering what the hell I'm going to have to do in 2 years when it needs an emissions test.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't drive in California.
Or here.
Yeah.
So Fridays at 9 p.m. EST will be busy for genre fans. Fringe, of course, is coming back to Fox.
Yes. Yes.
Supernatural on the CW and Grimm on NBC. But actor Jared Padalecki says he's not worried about the competition for fans' attention at this time slot. In fact, he says the other two shows can bring it on.
Nice.
Said maybe I should be worried about it, but I take it as a compliment. A lot of these Supernatural shows come and go. He went on to say that he believes Supernatural has an impact on television landscape. We're not getting 100 million viewers every week, but we do have some people who are passionate about the genre. Fantastic show, really is. So here we go, Trouble. Are you ready to get worked up a little bit? How much time do we have? Do we have enough time to work up?
This
is it.
So for decades, Superman has stood for truth, justice, and the American way. But they may not necessarily be the way of the Man of Steel as portrayed in the DC reboot. Grant Morrison says the reboot of Superman will examine the morality of the character. Cops don't know him. They can't trust him, Morrison says. He's willing to break the law, so obviously people are scared as well because he's using his incredible powers and no one quite knows what this means. Now, Morrison says his take reflects the current attitude many people have towards leaders. Nobody has much faith in their elected leaders in the same way they did. We also have a lot more cynicism and a lot more doubt about the people who are running our lives than we did when Superman was a Boy Scout. He said Superman needs to come up to speed, basically.
Okay.
I agree. I mean,
joke.
I think Grant Morrison has. If he's going to redo stuff with Soup, he's the man to do it.
Absolutely.
And to break it in 15 different ways, that's for sure.
Well, we've got to get to some other news because we got lots of it.
Sorry, hon. What'd you say your name was again?
My name is Nigel Blackwood, and I'm supposed to have an interview with Mr. Joss Wheaton for a show that's starting in about 2 minutes.
I don't see anything. Wait a minute. Here, Nigel Backwoods. Yes, hon, you had an appointment, but... Oh, I see. Your assistant Lance called and rescheduled.
I'm sorry, I don't have an assistant named Lance. What? Wait a minute. Neutron.
Good evening, I'm Lance Neutron, and you are now tuned into the FTL News. When other news teams are on a wild goose chase, the FTL News has your golden egg. In tech news, a new app for your smartphones hit the market today that enables the user to experience a sense of deja vu. I just downloaded it, let's have a look. In a related story, a new app for your smartphones hit the market today that enables the user to experience a sense of deja vu. I just downloaded it, let's have a look. Oh, battery's dead. We'll be back with more news after this message.
My hands are full, but I need to give the baby her formula. Sometimes I feel like I need extra arms.
Yeah, let's see. I've got my chips, got my beer on the coaster, all warm in my Snuggie. Oh no! Oh no, the remote is way over there! Only there was a way to get it here without getting up. No.
Do you suffer from the inability to move objects with your mind? Cortexiphan can help. You see, when we are born, our minds have limitless potential, But the social, intellectual, and physical conditioning of everyday life places limitations on that potential. Cortexiphan works to suppress these limitations, giving your mind the power to do what needs to be done.
The baby's fed, the dishes are done, and I'm floating on a cloud. Literally. Thanks, Cortexiphan.
Watch as the remote floats effortlessly into my hand. Only now I no longer need the remote as I interact with the electronics directly. Thank you, Cortexiphan!
Side effects of Cortexiphan include headaches, blurred vision, nausea, sensitivity to light, hallucinating shimmering halos, sharing nightmares with other Cortexiphan patients, unexpected dimensional travel. Some cancer patients who take Cortexiphan have been known to transfer their cancer via touch. Women who've become pregnant in a parallel universe and had their births artificially accelerated should not take Cortexiphan. Notify the fire department at once if you burst into flame while taking Cortexiphan. A rare but serious side effect may cause some males taking Cortexiphan to go to the top of tall buildings and make people jump to their deaths via mind control. There's a slight probability that 1 in 10,000 Cortexiphan patients may gain the ability to destroy the universe.
Ask your doctor about Cortexiphan today.
And we're back. In entertainment news, sources in the crew of the Jupiter 2 have learned from people stationed on Saturn 3 that while they were on Babylon 5 throwing a party for the crew of the Deep Star 6, they received a report from Blake 7 informing them that part of the movie Super 8 was filmed in District 9. That's the news, and join us later when we will have an interview with the star of the new sci-fi show, Higgs Bozo the Quantum Clown. But now we take you back to Draco Vista.
So then I say to this guy, either you stop selling alcohol to minors, or I'm going to have to show you how we do it down south.
Excuse me, Captain. We've just received information that David's going to a party tonight, and they're serving alcohol there.
Round up the troops. We've got a party to crash. Looks like we found the mother lode. Alcohol, the real weapon of mass destruction.
And welcome back to more of Slice of Sci-Fi. I'm Michael Armenenge.
And I'm Brian Brown. And through the marvels and trials and tribulations of technology, we are very blessed to have with us today, folks, Jamie Paglia, Bruce Miller, and Colin Ferguson. Yeah, you know, those people that do this little show called Eureka.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. At last, we made this connection.
Thank you very much for having us back.
Not a problem. We had to have you back here.
So let me go ahead and rattle off titles here, because Jamie is executive producer and brains behind this whole thing. Bruce Miller, executive producer as well. You have Colin Ferguson, who stars in it, and he also is a producer and maybe even executive producer. He might have got an upgrade. I don't remember if I saw that.
No, I'm not worth that much.
So, boy, where to start with this? Let's go hit the big question that everybody's been asking. And Jamie, we'll go ahead and get this to you and Bruce both primarily. Why all of a sudden it was Eureka and such a problem that Syfy said, sorry, we're no more seasons for you guys?
We were just too good.
Yeah, too good.
You can't contain this kind of awesomeness just to one channel for so long. Without it just causing basically to implode, and that was the situation that we found ourselves in. No, I think that that there was no problem actually. I think the sort of head scratching that's been going on, and the very honest regret and the sort of feelings of wonder at the studio and even some of our network executives is that creatively the show, I think, in their estimation, and I think the fan response and critical response as well has actually been just getting better, and our ratings have actually even held again with the move to Mondays at 8, which is a much less favorable time slot, obviously, when you lead into a new night of programming, but that ultimately, even though our ratings are right up there with the other programs that they have on the channel, or beating the other programs on the channel, that we are not as inexpensive as we were when we were a season 1 show. And after they picked us up for season 6, and everybody was very excited about doing it, that somebody who had, I think, maybe a last say in all this, who was more of an accounting kind of perspective on this, felt that the money would be better spent on new programming, whether that's more reality shows or more pilots, than the profit margins that they would have on our show going into season 6.
Oh, come on, Jamie, just admit it. You didn't have enough wrestling on the show. That's the problem.
Believe it or not,
Colin kept begging us.
There you go.
Colin will wrestle. He would do that.
Yeah.
Colin will wrestle.
I'll wrestle.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he'll wrestle any animal with 4 legs. I would bet it.
Okay, so
I love it. We'll wrestle for cash.
We'll wrestle.
There you go. Let's do it. That's a campaign right there. I see it.
So basically, what we thought was it just came down to numbers, and that's sad to see it happen that way. And because I honestly think you guys have a lot more tales to tell on your show.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, yeah, and we actually, it wasn't just a hypothetical. I mean, we actually proved it. We went through a whole sort of song and dance again for what we were going to do with season 6. And I think that what we had come up with creatively, we were all incredibly excited about, as was our network and studio. And so creatively, I think everybody was on board with us doing another season. And again, it's just it's unfortunately, you can only do so much. I think we've done everything we could to keep the show alive and keep it exciting. And our viewers have been unbelievably loyal and supportive, and they've followed us even though we've been moved to 2 different time slots. And our numbers have still been strong and growing, and matching or beating other shows on the network. And even last week, we beat NBC head-to-head. So it's you kind of can't do any better than that. So we kind of just felt like, well, this isn't a bottom line money accounting issue, and that's something that we can't. Even Jack Carter can't fix that.
That's true.
But what's really sad and frustrating about this whole thing is that you said it yourself, that this show can't do any better. I mean, it's got the rating, it's got the fans, it's got the loyalty. It's a great show, and yet it's still on the chopping block. It's like, wow, what do you have to do to succeed and get a long-running show on this network?
Well, I think Jamie and Colin have been there since the very beginning, and this has been an astonishing success. I mean, even though we're in season 5, this is a show that lasted 7 seasons. You can count the number of shows that last 7 seasons on a couple of hands. I mean, this has been an amazing run. So it's a success no matter how you look at it.
Very true.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that and Colin can speak to this too from, I think, the cast perspective, but even the sort of disappointment, obviously, of the cast and crew and all of us when we flew up to announce this to everybody after it had broken already in the press, but we wanted to go and tell everybody personally in Vancouver. There was a sense of, this has been a great, and we're going to enjoy the last couple of weeks that we have together and look for opportunities to work together in the future on other shows. And it has been 77 episodes over what will be 7 years after they air what they call season 5 sometime next year. So I think we're all feeling grateful, and I think that it was just really unfortunate how it all kind of came about in the end. It just sort of felt like it was there were a lot of missteps in there that would have bbeen much easier, I think, for everybody to sort of swallow if they had gone down differently.
Now, you just brought up a great point. Colin, and this is for Colin, really. Colin, you've been playing this role of Jack Carter for so long now. It's got to be weird to step into other shoes and do other things. Now I've seen you've been wearing the director's hat and you've done the producer thing, but still, this role is a major part of your life.
Absolutely. I mean, this role, changed my life. It made me, now this is how people see me because of this role and because of the words that those guys wrote. So it's sort of, I walk hand in hand with the role at this point when I walk into rooms for meetings and when I walk down the street. So saying goodbye to that is a crazy thing. Now, about sort of, I think that the confusion happens in a situation like this when you go out on top. which is what we're doing.
Yes.
It's not weird to get canceled after 7 seasons. Everybody's an adult. Everybody knows that things get canceled. It's just weird when you're on top and you don't get the pickup. You sort of go, I guess this is what it feels like to go out on top. Okay. It feels good on some because you're going out strong, but this other party goes, how weird. Okay, all right, let's do something else then.
Yeah, because I was going to go down that road too. I mean, it's nice to go out on top. You're right. You went out on a high note, and it didn't run down or ramp down or just wind out or run out of gas. It's a strong show all the way to the end.
No, we haven't even seen the next season.
You guys haven't even seen.
You still have 17 episodes to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna pee your pants. It's just, the stuff Colin does moving forward is just. He doesn't pee his pants, but it's amazing.
It's almost that good.
You don't, Colin, do you? I haven't seen all of it, but
that needs to be on a poster. This season's so good it'll make you pee your pants. There you go. Yeah. That's it. Eureka, makes you pee your pants. Awesome.
Who wouldn't watch that show?
I'm there.
Yeah, I agree. That's right. So I really quick now, guys.
I was just going to say, I was just going to add one thing to that, which is I think that what Colin said is exactly right, which is that you do, as you get into the upper seasons and years going on a series, start to say, well, this very well could be the last year, and I think that all of the sort of tumult in the media with the news getting out and then press releases saying one thing and then the encounter and all of that, if this had just been a conversation from the start of, you know what, you guys, you're doing great work and we're really proud of it and we feel like maybe this is the best time for us to wrap it up so that we know that you're going out on top and you have the time to do that. That would have been sort of a different scenario for us. And what was unfortunate was that we had the pickup for season 6. We were planning for those six episodes. We knew what we were going to be doing with them. And then the rug kind of gets pulled out where you're left scrambling to wrap up a whole series in less than a week. And that, again, I'm very grateful that the network at least saw it clear to give us one more episode on top of the 13 that we were doing so that we would have the opportunity to actually wrap up the series and say goodbye to the characters and give them the proper send-off, because I think that that's what the fans deserve, and that's what we would want to see our characters do. So we did have that opportunity. We just unfortunately had to do it in 5 days as opposed to 5 or 6 weeks, which is what you would normally have for an episode.
Right.
Well, gentlemen, we have to wrap this up for right now, but we're going to continue this conversation. But, folks, you're going to need to find it online for this, because we're going to keep talking to these gentlemen for a little bit longer. So hang tight, and we'll be back with more Slice of Sci-Fi right after this.
Reactor leak detected.
All right, back with more now. We've got
one little bit.
We got one little bit. We're running out of time, so.
Hello, Slice of Sci-Fi. This is Martin. I've been a lifelong science fiction fan for almost 50 years now, and this year was the first time I ever got to visit any kind of science fiction convention. I was lucky enough to go to Dragon Con this year, and I wanted to share a couple of observations as a first-timer.
Okay.
Observation 1. If you ever go to something like this and you see an ad for professional photos with the stars, be very selective. Don't get too many of those. Depending on the photo and how many people sign up for it, this one event can eat up your entire day. So be selective. Number 2, continuing with the photos, I want to mention something about Amanda Tapping. When people took photos with her, she stayed and personally handed out each photo to the fans while they waited.
Wow.
It's nice to know that some people, even though they're famous, still care about their fans. And finally, the theme of the year had to be Doctor Who. There were Daleks of every color and creed. There were people in TARDIS dresses, TARDIS suits. There was every version of every Doctor you can imagine. There were lots of bow ties, lots of fezzes, lots of Amy Ponds, some Rivers, you name it. But Matt Smith is definitely having an impact on fandom. Every Doctor Who fan has their own favorite Doctor. I'm glad so many people have found theirs. Speaking as a lifelong science fiction fan, I'm glad I had at least one chance to go visit Dragon Con.
It is an amazing, amazing event, and it's so sad that we did not make it again this year.
Oh man!
Some of us have made it a few times, unlike some people.
I've made it a few times, but not as many times as I would like.
Yeah,
unfortunately, it's on the other side of the world.
Yeah, and unfortunately, our corporate jet ran out of fuel this year.
It did.
I don't know
it
why.
Really did.
Haboob.
But I do want to thank you for that, because I do want to do our call-outs for all the wonderful people who have donated this week, and it has been fantastic. Christian from Germany sent us $60.
Nice. Thank you, sir.
George from Texas, $15. Linulex VOF is sent us $100.
Wow,
thank you for that. Colin from Cheshire is $10. Kevin from Mason sent us $50. Ken from Canada sent us $5.
Cool.
Justin from Florida sent us $25. We got a bunch of new subscribers: Andrew, Katie, Carlton, Scott, Ashley, John, David, Nicholas, Steve, and Robin sent us and gave us $20 a month new subscription. So
you guys are fantastic.
Thank you for that. You folks are fantastic. Also,
much appreciated.
Got a couple really nice checks. John sent us $100. TNG Russell sent us $50. They send us $50 on a regular basis, by the way. And Mark also sent us a very, very nice little thing.
Wow.
So,
thanks so much.
Thank you so much, folks. That's what keeps us going around here,
Definitely.
and I really appreciate all the support.